Democratic Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. He's on the Foreign Relations Committee, serving as the top Democrat on the East Asia Subcommittee. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for being with me again.
Thank you. Good to see you again.
All right, let's talk about this. It's a day before the direct bilateral meeting between President Trump and President Putin. Donald Trump criticizes Russia for destabilizing parts of the world, and yet he tells our own Hallie Jackson he's not even sure there are 17 intelligence agencies. Sure, Russia might have been involved in some hacking, but other people are too. Many Americans need him to confront Vladimir Putin about this issue and put some conditions on the table, and he's not even agreeing with the 17 intelligence agencies that he's not sure exist.
Well, right now, Donald Trump is the only American who does not believe that the Russians interfered with our elections. And I think his discussion with Putin will be a failure if he does not raise the issue and directly confront Putin with regard to what the Russians attempted to do in our elections in 2016. It's our most sacred institution. It's why we began the American Revolution, so that we could have elections free of foreign interference. At the time, it was King George. Now it's Vladimir Putin. And so if he is in denial, if he refuses to deal with the issue, then I think it's just going to continue to undermine his credibility here at home that he's willing to take on the tough issues overseas.
From the perspective of you, the legislators in Washington, Vladimir Putin does want things. He wants sanctions lifted. He wants the U.S. To get out of his business in Ukraine. He wants the ability to drill with American oil companies, which have technology to get oil out of the Arctic that Russia doesn't have. And he wants some kind of agreement on Syria. He's going in there with a list of things. We don't know what Donald Trump's list of things are.
Well, let's hope that Donald Trump's list includes, number one, the hacking into our elections in the United States. Number two, bringing Russia to the table so that Assad in Syria knows that he has to have a diplomatic resolution of that conflict. Otherwise, it will go on indefinitely. That the president is talking to Putin about the Ukraine and about the Russian aggression in the Ukraine. And finally, the Russian deployment of nuclear weapons in violation of the INF Treaty. That is sitting on the table as well, with the need for the president of the United States to confront Putin and let him know that it is unacceptable and a violation of international law.
Well, at least he articulated that the United States does adhere to Article 5 of the NATO agreement, which has been worrying some of our European allies. But now we've got the North Korean issue. The president is meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan and the new president of South Korea tonight for dinner. He's meeting with President Xi as well. You study this issue very closely. You have seen several administrations exercise what's called strategic restraint with North Korea. We seem to now rapidly be escalating toward possible military confrontation. There are a lot of reasons, Senator, why military confrontation with North Korea is a really bad idea.
Well, there is no military resolution of this conflict with the North Koreans. North Korea has nuclear weapons. North Korea has thousands of rockets and missiles that are on the North Korean side of the border with South Korea, with 25 million South Koreans living within 50 miles of the border. It would be catastrophic if the president is signaling that there is potentially a nuclear or military confrontation with North Korea, which is possible. The only alternative is direct negotiations between the United States and North Korea. That is what the Chinese have been requesting the United States to engage in for years. It ultimately is going to be the only route towards any potential productive resolution of this conflict. It would have to be done in conjunction with tightening Chinese sanctions on the North Koreans. But that is the direction we should be heading in, towards diplomacy, not towards an escalation, because that ultimately could result in a catastrophic war on the Korean Peninsula.
Senator Markey, always good to see you. Thank you for joining us.